Sales executives and sales leaders, they often are so tunnel visioned in reporting and data and the key performance indicators. They don't really know what happens in the day-to-day conversations. They don't really investigate those conversations. They don't really gain feedback from their frontline. One of the things you see this is with qualification. These sales leaders will sometimes come up with these ideas in their heads, and they're like, if they qualify on these things on the first call, then we can make sure that we're talking to the high buying intent buyers and we can prioritize, like, this sounds so great, right? And they come up with these ideas around what the data is telling them, but they forget what that actually looks like in a real world conversation. Like, I saw it recently with somebody who was like, we have to discount to win because we are double all of our competition. And the sales leaders were like, but the value is there. We can justify the ROI. Like, we know, like, we have the best of this, that, and that. And the leaders were talking about value selling, and the reps were like, hey, we don't solve anything greater than our competition. So at the end of the day, yes, we have a good product, but because of our competitive landscape and because we're double everybody else and they can do the same things as us, the value isn't there. So we only can win by discounting. Critical insight frontline sellers have that almost never makes it up is why they lose. What goes up food chain, what gets celebrated in the CRM and all this jazz, where do we win? And when we have customers, what the customers think. But then it's like, well, what about that like 80-90% group that you did not win, that did not become customers? Most people right now, they have a win rate of about 10%. So that means 90% of people you talk to are in the win-loss, and that information is blind to most leaders. If executives knew more about what happens on the front line, they could pivot faster, especially when it comes to the competition. Your front line will learn about the competitive landscape so much faster than anyone else because the customers are actively in research and they will share and be open. There's really only a few paths to understanding and leveraging frontline intelligence. Number one, you need to coach their calls. Like, somebody needs to be coaching them. Somebody needs to be reviewing the calls. Actual conversations, actual insights. There's a million tools on the environment to help you do this. But you really need to have those insights of the actual conversations with prospective customers. The second one is CRM health. There is very major deficit, even though we all have these beautiful, expensive CRM tools that we invest excessively in that really control the entire sales machine. They tend to have poor CRM health where the information is not actually getting logged. Sales leaders, I'm curious your perspective with your years of experience. What is the most shocking thing that you've learned from your frontline sellers? Comment below.